So we couldn't find the entrance to the house, but then we pulled in, and we pulled in to 150 acres and a chateau that has been in the family for
400 years. Holy!
I agree.
2, 1.
Oh.
The oven is on.
SBZ,
It shall begin.
SBZ, 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 SBZ.
All right. Welcome to Sauna Boys.
Oh my God, Sauna
Howdy.
Boys! What an interesting situation.
Well, thank you very much. This you're one of the most, probably the most revered guest we've ever had on here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. For
It's
that.
an honor. It's an honor,
It's
Lawrence.
great to
It
be
really
here.
is. Yeah.
Or as
Yeah.
what's his name from the Rolling Stones said, it's great to be anywhere.
Oh, Mick Jagger, Keith Richards.
Oh
Keith
yeah.
Richards.
Richie Richards.
Good to be here.
Yeah,
Good
he
to
had
be
that
anywhere.
great book. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that those guys are still. I know you've been very rock and roll too. You're a rock star
Well, I'm
yourself.
like 20, I'm like a lot younger than them. So, I my benchmark what old is when if Mick Jagger can't move on the stage anymore, that's when it's old. But at 85 years old, if these guys can keep rocking like that, like I just saw
Yeah.
Ringo Starr on stage,
Oh yeah.
85, jumping up and down.
Oh
and
yeah,
this
he
and that.
looks great.
That's fantastic.
Us, the art energy.
You know,
They're still having kids too. Still having
They're
kids.
Still having kids. Listen, I feel like I need an extra 100 years. Like this whole thing about dying at 80 is bullshit.
Oh.
I need time. I'm just getting started. I got a lot to
Well,
do.
that's
There's
a
lot
very-
between my 2 ears.
That's a very interesting topic you bring. So if you had the opportunity to upload your consciousness
Ooh.
forever
Yeah.
on the web, would
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah, I think I'm doing it slowly.
I mean, your art is an extension of who you are, and that's what's going to live on forever.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
in a way, I reckon your art is you living forever. But I guess more so specifically today, I mean, health and fitness, Sean and I are always trying to be on top of that.
Yeah,
And
so
as an
that's
artist,
good. That's a good thing.
your life's been very rock and roll. You're telling me about
Oh,
your New
big
York
rock and roller.
days and how insane it
God.
was. And,
Oh my God,
Studio
yes.
54, you were
Wow.
right there in the middle,
Right in
living
the
it
thick
up.
of it all.
And
Right.
do you have any, daily health? Are you a extreme kind
got,
of
like,
health
kombucha,
guy? Yeah. Coffee.
No,
skincare,
I
whiskey.
am a fucking I'm a hedonist.
See, that's right.
I am
That's
a
right.
complete fucking hedonist. Now,
Hell yeah.
I went to the doctor the other day. I had a blood test and all that other BS,
Right.
and they tell you, well, your numbers are good, your sugar's a little high, and you gained weight. And I said, well, I was in France, and I said, I am unapologetic for every bite that I took.
That's
Because
right.
the food was extraordinary. And when I came back here, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to eat? How am I going to eat now?
A hot dog, a
that
burger.
Yeah.
So what happened was I got a baguette from Publix. I came back. I used vegan butter on it. And you know what? It tasted so salty. And I realized that here, there's all this preservatives and all this shit that they put in people. So, the thing that, like a couple of like health things to learn is just like, don't eat as much as you used to eat less, try to eat more fruit and vegetables. And once in a while, you just have to go, I got to have a slice of pizza. I just can't
Absolutely.
take it. So,
Absolutely.
treat
you
yourself
gotta
to a
treat yourself.
Very good piece, not some
Yeah.
shitty,
Like vegan, protein based,
Fake
really.
pizza.
farm to
He's about the
table
real.
pizza.
Yeah. Well,
something really good.
no, it's funny because Sean and I talk about this a lot too. This American system where you just keep eating. You just eat. If you're bored, you eat. If you have nothing to do, you have a burger under a Big Mac and fries underneath your bed at night.
That's correct.
And
That's it.
you're
very right about that.
you're in Europe, is way different
Oh
than
my
that.
God.
It's not
But
about
I was eating
that.
late, and I was eating like
Right.
so. I will like be a hypocrite and say I don't eat meat, which is a lie. I do occasionally, but over there, like I was at a buffet and I saw the cows, and I'm like, holy shit, they look so healthy.
Uh-huh.
So when I went to the buffet, they had the steak, and it was like sort of like rare-ish, and I was like, on the grill, baby.
Yeah,
Put it on
I
the
feel
grill.
The
that.
cows here,
Burn
you
that
can see
fucking-
their ribs. They have rashes. They're scratching their
terrible.
neck.
No,
You
it's
know,
awful. It's
they're
awful.
eating themselves. They breed
No,
them
and
in.
the
These-
chickens and all that. And
I
stuff
prefer
like
the
that.
Miami diet. It's just a liquid diet.
Well,
you
that's
know,
true.
just
That's
the
a whole
tequila.
nother-
You know,
yeah,
one every
Or
hour.
Fort Lickerdale. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where I am, right? I mean, that's what it is. So.
Well, going back to what you said about being, a hedonist, and
yeah.
do you find? I think I'm a little bit more aligned with you on that as well. I think it gives you, life force, and there's something mental about going to those places, and you're finding answers. Does that inform your artistic process?
Absolutely, 100%. And you have to be with great people.
Yeah.
You have to surround yourself with good people. And, you can't be with people who are boring, who have nothing to contribute to you, that you can have like a moment of enlightenment. Like I have totally X'd out so many people. I'd rather be alone like a monk with my art. And then when I do go out, have a situation like, who would ever, dream of doing something like this? So when he called me, before he even like finished his sentence, I was like, yes, I'm down. I'm coming, because I want to have experiences, but I gotta, like either it's like the poet Rumi said, what you seek is seeking you.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
like that. This is what I'm seeking, and
Right.
you contacted me, so
Yeah.
it means that, like that is true. That's a true statement.
The SBZ experience is far out. Our budget doesn't allow some of the LSD and ayahuasca stuff we're trying to get to eventually.
Not yet.
But we're getting there. And, exactly what you're saying, open to exciting new people, and you want to keep exploring, internally as an artist. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, how much of it is like your creation is just living and having experiences
That's
versus
all it is. That's all it is.
do you ever sit down and you say, I need to make art
No.
today?
Well, I make art every day.
Right.
Okay, I like that.
I make art every day. I've taken pictures since I'm 10 years old. I had a Hawkeye camera that my father bought me on Lincoln Road, and there's a picture of me and my dad. I actually
Nice.
have the
Oh, wow.
picture of him buying me that camera.
Sick.
So I'm making a whole nother a book right now. So I just finished that book, but I'm on to the next. So it's called Normandy Inspired. So because Normandy inspired me to so I had 3 exhibitions there. One was the artificial intelligence, one was the robotic painting, and the third one was a 50th retrospective of my work that laid out my whole timeline.
Wow.
So people were able to go, and it was in the park. So people were able to read these panels in the park and take in who Laurence Gartel was. And they had
Wow.
no fucking idea.
Wow.
And what does that mean exactly? It's about accomplishments, not just, oh, that's a nice picture. I was on the cover of Forbes in 1989. My Absolute ad for Absolute Vodka. Where is it? Here it is.
There it is.
This thing was on the back of 300 million magazines. It was on the back of Art in America, Art Forum, Sotheby's, Wired, New York Magazine. And then one stupid guy said, you really don't have many social media, you really don't have, how many, I said, are you fucking nuts? Do you know how many fucking, the front cover of Forbes magazine, how many multiples of millions of people
But
saw
how many
it?
followers do you have?
Yeah. What's your TikTok?
3,000. Oh, I don't have TikTok.
But it's so silly because
I don't give a
you're
shit.
you're so beyond that, and it's so funny because we were just talking too before our cameras rolling. You are the progenitor of digital art, and everything now is so digitized. And you were there with Whitney, with Warhol, with these guys, and you're informing, you're inculcating us. It's so funny. It's it's so silly. Someone would ask you about digital stuff. It's what? Yeah, you created it.
It's so insane. At that time when you were making it, did you face any societal pushback? You're
Are
using
you
computers
kidding me?
and
Are you
artwork? What
kidding me? First of all, I have my original in this book over here. I published 4 works. It's called Day 1, Hour 1. The first minute that I touched an analog system computer, I photographed the screen of what I was doing.
Wow.
I didn't even know why I did it. I just thought it was important. I was 19 years old.
Wow.
Which you know, when I say that, it used to be like, oh my God, you're blowing my mind. But, you know, I have like a 6-year-old grandson. He's like working the freaking iPad like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
and my granddaughter, who's 12, she is like doing some sort of projection. I don't even know how she does it. She's like, has her phone. She's projecting on the paper and she's drawing on the paper. It's like kind of like a reverse engineering of what I was doing.
Right.
So they're so young and they're so adaptable to technology. It wasn't like, so when I used to, you know, flaunt that at 19 years old, or blah, blah, like, you know, 19-year-old already, like, you know, you should have like 20, you know, almost 20 years of experience.
Yeah, pretty much.
But-
Everything's changed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, like in the beginning days, I worked on these analog things. There was knobs, buttons, wires. There was nothing to save the picture on. So I photographed the screen with a still camera on a tripod. And you had to make sure that you wouldn't get the scan line on the screen.
You had to match the frame rate. with the shutter speed.
Well, you would know all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, the
So
analog,
that's what I had to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's fascinating because digital, you know, cameras are ubiquitous now. Everyone who has an iPhone and everything
Yes.
else, but the process back then was so much more handled with care, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yes,
you know,
you're right.
as a photographer myself too, and it's one
Yeah.
of those things where people don't really know how to go into a dark room anymore. They don't know how to develop photos anymore. They don't really know
they
about
don't know that.
film.
You know, I used to teach on the computer the early days, like when Photoshop, actually before Photoshop, there was a program called Digital Darkroom,
Oh,
Ooh,
and so
That's
that was
cool.
before. That was the precursor.
Good band
to,
name.
to Photoshop. But I have a disc in this book. I have
right.
Photoshop 1.0 on a floppy disk.
Oh wow.
I still have that disc.
wow!
That's
I'm sure
pretty-
that's worth something now.
I'm sure it is.
I
So-
mean, what do you prefer? The kind of old analog, the beginnings of like, you know, like when the Mac first came out, or where we're at now with like iPhone 500 with the 18 cameras on it,
No,
and like
so-
which one?
Well, you have to be inventive because if everyone has the tools, like I used to say, like there was a program called Aldus, and Aldus had special effects, and then Adobe bought out Aldus, and they included the filter gallery.
Wow.
That used to be Aldus, but
Wow.
they haven't even improved on it. They just gave you like the 10 possible choices. That Adobe hasn't developed more
Yeah.
filters.
I was talking to Sean about this. I
Ah.
think that AI and some modern tech is there's kind of subterfuge. I mean, these companies are marketing you things, and not really much has changed. You know, and you would know more about this than we would.
Well, I'll tell you this. So I see ads for Photoshop now, and they go, "Look what you can do," and I'm like, "That's as boring and pedestrian as it gets." There's no innovation in that. Like,
Right.
take out the word peace and add the word love instead. All right, you know, like
Uh-huh.
I don't see the imagery being any more commanding than anything else. So it's like, again, they just push they'll teach people because I was the spokesperson for Adobe when they had layers.
uh-huh.
Oh yeah, I bet that was a big feature when it came out.
Yeah, you know, it's funny to see where Creative Cloud is now and all the editing software and the tools, like I said. And I guess we're talking so much about technology, and perhaps to bring it back a little bit to like health and fitness. And I know you're saying being young forever. What are your thoughts on genetic engineering? And, Laura Doubtner recently with CRISPR, and there's all this technology where you could genetically engineer yourself in the future. You could be, ripped, young, forever.
Long blonde
Anything
hair.
you want, dreadlocks.
Bring it on, baby. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, but don't you think this brings up some moral and ethical questions? I mean, when I read this book, Laura Doubtner, she said she had nightmares about, like Nazi Germany and these things where, who gets to decide what's kind of,
Well, as long
who
as
gets
it's
to have access to this
democratic and
power?
you're- Well,
Yeah.
people with money always. I mean,
Yeah.
that's been going on since who gets a painting of themselves by John Singer Sargent? Only the aristocrats, right?
All right,
I mean, that's
oligarchy.
kind of, the oligarchy.
Right,
So,
right.
I mean, so those are the people who, get to go on the Titanic,
Right,
and,
yeah.
and do all this like
Go
you
on
know,
the big spaceship recently and the big Amazon.
Exactly.
What was the
yeah.
the
I
big
mean,
trip?
I don't know
Yeah.
if I want to do that, you know, or I want to go to Mars,
Right.
but you know, I just want to keep making artwork, and
Right.
I just want to keep getting new tools, and you know, I meet people along the way, and they teach me things, and you know, I don't know any of you know all of it.
Right.
You know, I was one of the first to make a 3D printed Ferrari
Wow.
sculpture. It
Wow.
was 18 inches, and I made a road so thin, and it kept breaking every time they made it, but because it all had to be one piece, and a collector was paying for it. And I said it was like making an epic movie because it like I couldn't like finish it, so I
Right.
had to bring it here, bring it there, bring it there. Finally, I got it done.
Right.
I gave him the piece, and his wife actually gifted it back because he passed away. And she says, Lawrence, Larry would like you to have it. He would really like you to have
Wow.
it. So I have it. And, you know, it's
Wow.
a nice little testimony.
Wow. Wow.
he
I
gave it
mean,
back to
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's it's crazy to to think that
You've
you know,
just done so much.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
incredible.
And do, you know, I know that you've done a bunch of different. Not only that, Ferrari you talked about. You've done a bunch of other like stuff with cars and
Oh, my
automobiles,
God, I've
and
made
that's
71
another
I was the feature
point
of
of
the New York Auto
machinery.
Show.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, my friend down the block has the latest car, which
Yeah,
I
Oops.
let the cat out of the
Uh-oh,
bag.
uh-oh.
Well,
Our location
I
is.
won't-
We'll do a
I
hard
won't
bleep
say
there.
anymore. But anyway, I've made 71 cars.
Wow, incredible.
And the
Jeez.
feature of the New York Auto Show with 25,000 square feet of space of art cars and motorcycles.
Wow. Are you more of an old school car kind of guy? You know, old school
Yeah,
chopper, a Harley, and an
yeah,
old school Cobra? Are you a new? You're a
Cybertruck,
Tesla guy. You're
yeah.
an EV guy. You're
No, I'm not. No, not true. I grew up in the Bronx, man. I
yeah.
had, you know, my father bought me a high school graduation. I got the doctor who lived in who had his office in our building. He had a '67 Cadillac sedan DeVille.
I see that. I can see you as like your caddy daddy. I can see that
Yes,
big caddy
100%. And I
daddy
did a couple of
Escalade.
caddies.
Yeah.
I've done them actually.
Sick.
Yeah.
So you've done
Yeah.
so much already. I
Yeah.
know you have like a film coming out. So how does this all tie into where you are now, where you're going?
Well, where I'm going is I you know, just came back from France. And so that was a marvelous trip, meeting marvelous people, going to, as a matter of fact, so the mayor threw a special reception for me, and she brought in the top sculptor of the region.
Oh wow.
And I don't know if she brought him to impress me or was I supposed to impress him.
Oh.
I didn't know. So anyway, so we went out to dinner in the casino because the show is at the Forges Grand Casino upstairs. Absolutely a beautiful space. So we had dinner downstairs, and he goes, "Yeah, I'd really like to see your exhibition." So he and his wife walked around the show, and his wife said, "You know, I'd like to invite you to my house." And I said, "Wow, that's great." Just, I think, you know, maybe like Saturday, Sunday afternoon would be good if you can stop by there. So it was like they lived like 20 minutes away. And so they took me there, and she says, as a matter of fact, we'll like have like a picnic brunch or something like that. I said, well, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. So we brought some baguettes over and some things, but she had like cheese and wine and all this other stuff
Right.
and coffee. And
All right.
so we go over there, but we couldn't find the entrance. We couldn't find
Classic.
the entrance.
Everything's a maze. It's a labyrinth.
Well, isn't it
you
in France
know?
they have the
Yeah,
little
it's
tiny
different.
doors?
It's different
Well-
out there. You know,
well-
we have our interstate system here. It doesn't go.
Yeah, it was countryside, so we couldn't find the entrance to the house. But then we pulled in, and we pulled in to 150 acres and a chateau that has been in the family for 400 years.
Holy
He
smokes!
was a nobleman,
Oh wow!
and for like something like 15 euro, you can go visit the grounds and walk
Hmm.
around. It's
Huh.
like that. And so he's got all his sculptures all over the place.
Oh.
And they were fantastic sculptures. I mean, this is like again, this is the real deal. This is, and you think of somebody who would own 150, just think of this for a second, okay? So imagine knowing someone who has 150 acres of land, what would they be here in America? Would they be wearing a fucking Rolex watch and driving?
No. They would.
Lambos
They would
or
be.
whatever? It would be so ostentatious.
Yeah.
This was a quiet,
That.
respectful,
Yeah.
nothing to prove.
I can't
kind
even
of guy.
visualize that much land. I don't even know what
I
that's.
Yeah, it's like
pictures
Ted,
on
it's
my
like Ted
phone I
Turner
could
in
show you.
Montana. You know, he owns about that much. You know, it's interesting.
Kinda
It's
like,
different.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And,
That's unbelievable.
and you know, there's a few like, you know, chickens on the ear. You know, but it was absolutely. And so you go into the house and there is a 13th century tapestry
Oh my goodness.
with an 18th century piano that works.
So you would say in France, it's the history there that just you find so much inspiration from.
Yes, I guess that's where you.
It
thank you for
is the
bringing me
culture.
back.
It's the culture. I mean, what else
culture.
about France and Europe, you know, inspires you and you know, clicks for you? And what is it about the energy out there? You know, I myself am not the biggest fan of France. You know, I've had some issues out there. I've gotten into some, you know, I'm a very American guy.
But you
know,
haven't
I come
gone to
out
these
swinging.
states yet. You know, you haven't gone
I've
to
been to
these.
Carcassonne, you know, in France. There's a big castle. It's a big castle area,
course.
you know. But for me, you know, I guess I'm a little bit more German about things. I like things a little bit more orderly, and
Ooh,
strict,
okay.
and Berlin, and you know that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And France, I got, you know, the train. So I was getting in some fights. You know, I was
Okay.
really
Sure.
American about things, and but you know, it's different for everybody.
He's the guy on the train that's on FaceTime when everybody's
Yeah.
quiet. He's
Yeah.
yelling at
I'm
people.
waving an American flag
Yeah.
in France, pretty much.
All right.
You know, it is interesting. My American mind can't even comprehend that level of heritage. You know, because for most of us, it kind of ends at our grandparents or great grandparents.
Exactly right.
And then,
I
you know,
barely
it's like,
him.
how do you, that's crazy. It's like, you know, 4 centuries of
But he
family.
has signage of what everyone, and if it goes all the way back, he was like apparently the first person to make up the finance of Normandy, like
Wow.
the
Oh my
person
gosh.
responsible for
Wow.
you know all of that stuff.
And you know, back then it's like you had to do some stuff to get in that position. You know, you got to
Exactly.
you know carry your sword
Well,
around.
there's just the artistic influence from Monet or
Yeah.
Duchamp.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's so fascinating. And, you know, America, we're still just babies, but there's just something culturally out there. They're so far ahead of, you know.
So I was given the opportunity to go to the Beaux-Arts Museum as a
Oh, wow.
guest. They invited me.
Wow.
So I go there, and across the street is a Calder sculpture that was loaned by the Pompidou Center.
Oh, wow.
And I go, everything, you know, these days at this point in my life, everything is like 2 degrees of separation. I said, you know, by the way, you know, like Calder's daughter, Mary, was my mother's friend.
Oh, wow.
So like, I'm
You're,
like,
you're having
they were
these
like,
kind of connections every day. It
what?
seems.
You know, I said, yeah. Mary was my mom's friend. She went over. They
That's
used to go on a
wild.
boat ride together and all that. And her husband imported Aboriginal art into the country.
Wow.
And so the son now manages, because everything has to go through the Calder Foundation, and the son takes care. He authenticates absolutely every single piece that whatever happens. And you know, they have the circus now that they actually took out of the box, and they're like doing shit with the circus that used to be at the Whitney Museum. They're doing a whole nother
Wow.
exhibition of it, which
Wow.
is like really fantastic. But anyway, so across the street from the Beaux-Arts is that. I go in, there's a Victor Vasarely, and there's the sculpture that, I'm sorry, the painting of the cathedral
Oh, wow.
that Monet painted.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the girl said,
my
the
gosh.
lady that I was with said, I'm going to take a picture of you next to the thing. And then after we left there, she goes, now I'm going to take you to the spot where he painted
Oh my gosh.
that thing. I said, you're kidding me. So
That's the experience he's talking about. It's being right
I
there.
see the thing, I see the church, and I go, okay. And I take a picture of it, and she goes, now turn around. I said, okay. She goes, you see that private building of, you know, like right behind the church, like opposite the church? Up in that window is where he painted the cathedral. And so what happened was there was like a guy with his kids and his wife, and he goes, I'm sorry, like I was like overhearing your conversation. Are you saying that across the street? I said, yes. Across the street is where he painted the most famous fucking painting, and it's in the Beaux-Arts Museum down the block.
Oh my gosh.
It's just
So-
that's you know that's how it is in France, and you're everywhere every block there's something.
Yeah, it's
that just
overwhelming.
blows your brain. Yeah.
And you know, like the buildings, and I was told like how
Yeah.
they like built up from let's say the 14th century,
Right.
how they kept building the buildings, and some
Right.
of them burned and some of them didn't, and all that sort of thing. And so, you know, I'm
Yeah.
wandering around. So I did a series of 20 paintings, and it's finished, and it's now going to be in the book.
Wow.
And the idea is I'm going to show the books that I read. I still have them as
Wow.
a child. I have Renoir, Toulouse-Lautrec. I have all of these art books, and I found my paint box when I was a kid. So I photographed that box, and I opened the box up. There's the paints, and I squeezed the tube, and guess what?
Fresh paint.
It's soft.
Whoa.
Could you imagine
Oh, man.
painting with the same paint
Ugh.
60 years later?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible.
Oh
Incredible.
my God. And the linseed oil is still there. And
It
the
had to have been
turpentine
a
is-
avalanche of memories and experiences as soon as you touched that, as soon as that paint came out. It was rushing in.
It came rushing in because
Wow.
I went to the Pell School of Art on 73rd Street off of Broadway.
Uh-huh.
And Al Roon's Health Club was downstairs, and that turned into Plato's Retreat.
Wow.
Who knew that?
Incredible.
Jeez.
Wow. I mean, it's so fast. It's just crazy. It's like we're so lucky to have you here in the first place. And it's like, we can just pick your brain forever. And it's like, you know, the last time I was in Paris, in France, I went to the Louvre, you know, and everyone's crowding around the Mona Lisa, even though next door, there's also one of the most famous paintings in the world.
yeah.
What was the name of the painting? It's a giant, it's been, and it's like the giant war photo. I forget the portrait. I forget the name of the painting.
Oh, is that the one where like hell's breaking free?
Yeah,
or-
it's a
underground?
really, yeah. But I mean, what are your thoughts on the Louvre and the Mona Lisa and where
Well,
like
I think that
some of that's at now?
I think that painting is overrated, but there's a great story about how the Crown Prince supposedly there was a great film that I saw in Asheville about this painting that someone found in like
Is this
a
a Salvador
the
Mundi?
dumpster.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know,
And,
yeah.
and they said, "Oh my God, this is a and then
Yeah.
like this lady who was the restorer
Yeah.
worked on like 90% of
Yeah.
it is her." And
Yeah.
not, and
I saw
not-
the same doc, and
You saw the doc?
she's doctoring the painting
Okay,
for
so
her
you
own
saw it.
profit, and this kind of gets into sort of the ugly side of capitalism the art world's in many
Wow.
ways, and yeah, it's incredible
just-
because it was like the forgotten the forgotten painting
moment.
of Da Vinci. It's
yeah,
like
yeah. And so what happened was that the Crown Prince wanted to hang the picture side by side,
and
and
yeah,
the French government wouldn't allow it.
wow,
It's like so they said no,
wow.
which totally pissed him off.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like warfare between the big touchstone galleries across the world, and
Yeah,
that's such an incredible story. But I mean, have you had any galleries, or I'm sure you have, like fight over your works? Have you ever
Well,
gotten?
I
Have you ever
have
gotten in
all
a fist
sorts of
fight with
stories.
someone? Is there?
I have all sorts of stories. Unfortunately, we're at the end. I'm at the end of my sauna
I hear
experience.
ya, man.
Oh.
It's tough. It's tough, right?
Well, it's good, but
Yeah.
So
well, I was going to ask you
I
one
would
more
do a
question.
I would do a part two at
Yeah,
another
part two.
time and come
I
back.
see it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sick. I don't know if you want to ask about Napoleon.
yes,
I
go
wanted to
ahead.
ask him about Napoleon.
We probably got like one more question.
Napoleon?
Yeah,
Okay,
Napoleon.
well,
What are your thoughts
I
on
went to-
Napoleon Bonaparte?
I went to Sardinia, and I wrote my Italian monograph at my manager's house there, and Versace was the next door neighbor, so I saw them all swimming naked in the Mediterranean, which is freezing fucking cold. It's like the Pacific Ocean. It's not the Atlantic, and it's
Very
freezing.
refreshing.
But so we went and we went to Corsica
Wow.
from there, the French island,
Right.
and that's where he was
exiled.
exiled.
Yeah.
Exiled the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and
So-
he got off, and it's
But then
crazy.
you go to the some of the other museums, the Borghese, and
Mm-hmm.
I was there on I want to say the last day before it closed,
Mhm.
and then it was closed, or the first day it opened after 17 years. I don't know.
Wow.
I forgot which side of the coin I was there at the end or the beginning. I just don't
Time
remember.
traveling, time traveling.
And some of the sculptures then there was like
Wow.
you know, it was breathtaking, and I believe it came from some of it came from his estate.
Wow.
So
God
Insane.
bless you. God bless you.
Yeah, Laurence Gartel, thank you for being here with us. And
Oh,
before
man.
we go, you got a film coming out. Anything you want to plug? Where can people find you?
yeah, I'd love them to know about my film premiere, the American film premiere of Laurence Gartel, Digital Titan, directed by Roberto Dassoni, who Roberto and I made a film in Piacenza, Italy, the year before, 2023. And we finished it up in 2024. And he goes, Laurence, why it take you so long? And I said, why did it take me so long? Because I wanted to premiere it at the right place, which was, I had an opportunity in France to do it in Forges-les-Eaux. And I showed the film there. I got a 5-minute applause. I was very thankful for that. And now I said, you know what? I live in Fort Lauderdale. I deserve to show the film at Savor Cinema, November 2nd. There's a VIP party at 4 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock we're going to show the film, and then I'll take a Q&A after that. I'll have some of my artificial intelligence and robotics paintings around the thing. We'll have a little bit of food, and it should be a very, very good time. I think, you know, it's good for the region to have something like this.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Everybody's
Amazing.
lucky that to go and witness you and everything that you created.
We're lucky to have you here in SoFlo in South Florida, in Miami.
There it is.
There it
Check
is,
out,
everyone.
The
The
Grammy.
Grammy.
Statue.
He's just done-
I mean, you know, the poster, the
Unbelievable.
invitation, the VIP tickets, it was
Yeah.
everything.
And you guys heard from the beginning. He's just getting started.
I'm
all right,
just
he's
getting
just getting
started.
started.
I'm
Just getting
started.
warmed
Pretty
up.
soon it's going to
Getting
be,
warmed up.
instead of Hey Siri, it's Hey Laurence.
That's
He's going to be
right. That's
in our
right.
iPhones telling us what to do.
That's right.
Wouldn't that be great?
All right,
Yeah.
let's get one big
Sit.
flex before we get out of here. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Ah.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, my
Thanks for
God,
being
God
on.
God bless you, Lawrence.
Thank you.
Does
Thank
that,
you so
does that
much.
feel good? You feeling that?
Whoa!
Oh!
Get back.
Hey, hello. Oh,
All
my
right.
God.
That's a wrap.
Peace
Cut.
out.